Hey guys, welcome to the 8th day of emotional intelligence with Coach LDA, and it's been phenomenal with you. I've had a very wonderful time putting all of this together. It's also been a season of learning and unlearning and relearning for me as well. I hope you have been going through your worksheets because those worksheets they have gold mine in them. I can tell you for free that if you go through that worksheet, even up until today, you would have started to feel one or two major and significant difference in the way you handle your emotion. And for this second half, we're going to be talking more about anger. Now, we've talked about what your emotion is. We've given like a preview of what emotion is. Now we are getting deeper into you regulating your emotions, and today we are going to talk about how you can manage your anger. So what is anger? I told you that there are really no negative or positive emotions, right? Or sorry, there are no good or bad emotions, and that your emotions are an indication of what is happening in there. So yeah, emotion, anger is an emotion, and it is a normal emotion. So if you're someone that feels or gets angry, and you're starting to feel very ashamed of yourself, right? I will tell you that anger is not a bad thing. However, what you do when you're angry is what makes it bad. You can be angry and not um, do something nasty, right? You can actually be angry. You can feel the emotions of anger and not do something nasty. Like I tell you, anger tells you that there's something unfair happening. So anger is your response to something that you do not like, that your body system does not appreciate, and it tells you no, we can't take this. So what you do is now what comes of that anger. So you do not have the permission to hurt others because you're angry. Remember what was said the last for yesterday was that you should take ownership of your behavior, take responsibility for your behavior. So you do not have any cause to spring up because you're angry. You don't have any cause to hurt someone, harm someone because you're angry. Now, what happens to you when you're angry? How would you know when you're angry? The first thing is that your heart starts to beat very, very fast. Now, you could literally hear yourself breathe over and over again. Your face feels hurt. If you're fair, you would realize that you turn red. But even though you are not fair, if you are dark like me, right, or you're chocolate, you would notice that there is some form of redness over you. Now your hands, your fists, you feel like you start to clench your fist, like, and that's why people throw blow, they throw punch at other people when they're angry. You realize that your fist starts to clench. Now you may try to shout. Sometimes people are angry, they shout on top of their voices. Some people even slam things. Some people destroy things, which all of this I do not support. But these are just signs to show you that you probably are very angry. Now, what are the helpful responses and unhelpful responses to anger? When you're angry, it is going to be unhelpful if you're yelling, if you're blaming others, if you're hitting someone. It is very unhelpful. But responses that are helpful will be that you want to take a deep breath, you want to walk away, or you want to speak with someone that you trust. Now, I remember I told you that you could actually manage your anger, and that is what this particular class of today is about. So I'm going to just walk you through some things you can do when you start to notice that your feet start clenching and your heart is racing very fast. Then you need to do something about it. The first one you want to do is you breathe in and out for 5 times. I know we talked about this earlier, but again, it's very useful for you when you're trying to manage your anger. So you're going to breathe in and breathe out 5 times, like, you're going to do that for 5 times, right? And you're going to count 1 to 10. I can tell you it works a lot of time. When you do that, you would realize that you are able to walk away from the situation. You could also talk to a trusted adult. So again, sometimes we're angry when the emotions comes, we're angry about something. Sometimes it's because we feel like we do not have control over it. and that could intensify the anger you feel. So if someone has said something to you and you do not want to take laws into your hands, right, you want to talk to a trusted adult that can give you that solace. So if they give some sort of punishment or some sort of scolding to the person that did that to you, it might give you some some solace. So you need to talk to a trusted adult. And if you're an adult that you are watching this, you might also want to talk to another trusted adult that can help you find solace, help you actually address the situation that is causing the anger. Another thing you can do is write or draw out your feelings. We talked about journaling as a tool for self-reflection. You want to journal it down, you want to write your emotions down, your feelings down, you want to really journal it and, bring it out. You also want to take a break, just walk away from them. Walk away. So what are the things you can do? So now I've told you like 5-6 things. So I'm going to ask you, what are the things you can do instead of shouting when you're angry? And I want you to take a moment to think about that. What are the things you can do when you are angry? So I want you to put that in your journal. You're going to have a space in your worksheet where you're going to write that down. Another way you can manage your anger is using the I feel statement, right? You need to be able to write what you feel. E.g., I feel angry when Tunde says I am too short, right? I feel angry when my brothers break my stuff that I worked hard on. So you need to learn to write down how you feel. You need to learn to journal, because when you do that, it now makes it easier for you to communicate that feeling. So I feel statement is another way. Now, I've talked about you breathing in and out, you going away and speaking to a trusted adult. Then the next thing you want to do is journal your I feel. I also told you that you could actually draw it out. Now, anger shows up. Anger would come. I don't know, regardless of who you are. If anybody tells you I've never been angry or I will never get angry, that's a lie. Even me, yes, anger will show up. But one thing we can be sure of is how we respond to it. So this is not to say that, going forward, you do not feel, no, you're going to feel angry. People will say things, people will do things that would instigate your anger, that will prompt the anger emotions in you to come up. However, how you respond will determine what will happen. How you choose to respond will determine who you will be. So again, how do you want to respond to anger issues? I say that every time. Now, what you do is what will now make you very, very proud of yourself. So in summary, we've talked about anger. Now today is talking about managing your anger, and we've been able to highlight to ourselves to know that anger is normal. It's one of those things that happen, but the way you respond to it is important. Because you're angry, you don't have any right to hurt people. You don't have any right to do nasty things because you're angry. And what can you do? You take a deep breath in and out for 5 minutes. You walk away. You speak to a trusted adult, and you journal your thoughts down. I also mentioned something earlier. I said you should rehearse your reactions in your quiet time. Think about things that could make you. So we also talked about I feel statement. You want to go back to the I feel statement and write it down. When you write your I feel statement down, then you rehearse your reaction. Like, okay, next time someone does this to me and I feel this way, this is how I react. And when you continue to do that over and over again, you will find out that you're able to manage the kind of things you do when you're angry. See you tomorrow. Bye.